In this particular video, we will talk about the detail of cell envelope. As well, we will talk about some structures which are present in cytoplasm of prokaryotic cell. Now, starting with the cell envelope. Now, how many layers are present in cell envelope? There are three layers. The outermost layer is glycocalyx. The second layer, middle layer is cell wall, and the innermost layer is cell membrane. First, we will talk about glycocalyx. Now, glycocalyx is the outermost layer. It is of two types. If it is present as loose sheath, we call it slime layer. And if this glycocalyx is in the form of thick and tough form, we call it capsule. So, glycocalyx can either be slime layer or it can be capsule. Now, below this particular glycocalyx, cell wall is present. Now, cell wall is present in prokaryotic cell as well as eukaryotic cell, but the structure will be different. So, the cell wall of bacteria, it will have peptidoglycans, but the cell wall of eukaryotic cell, it will be mainly made of cellulose. So, the cell wall structure is different in prokaryotes and eukaryotes. What are the functions of cell wall over here? We can say that cell wall is rigid, so it will determine the shape of the cell. It will provide a very strong structural support to bacteria. As well, it will prevent bursting or collapsing of the bacterial cells. So, cell wall is very important for particular prokaryotic cell. Now, one thing is to be noted over here, that cell wall is present in all prokaryotic cells, but there will be one exception: mycoplasma do not have cell wall. Now, below this cell wall, the innermost layer of cell envelope is present, and that is plasma membrane or cell membrane. Plasma membrane or cell membrane is selectively permeable in nature, and cell membrane will be similar to the eukaryotic cell. So, cell wall was different, but cell membrane is always similar. So, this is what makes the cell envelope of bacteria. Now, on the basis of cell envelope, we can divide bacteria into two parts. The first part of the bacteria are known as gram-positive bacteria, and the second are known as gram-negative bacteria. What is the difference between these? The difference lies in the structure of cell envelope. And what we do, we stain bacteria by a stain which is called as Gram stain. Gram stain was developed by a scientist called Christian Gram. So, bacteria which take up this particular Gram stain are called as gram-positive bacteria, and the bacteria which do not take this stain are called as gram-negative bacteria. So, that is how we come to two groups of bacteria, that is gram-positive and gram-negative. After completing the cell envelope, we come to the cytoplasm. Here we will talk about 3 points of cytoplasm. First, we will talk about nucleoid. Then we will talk about the genetic material, and we will talk about the ribosome, that is the non-membranous organelle. Coming first to the nucleoid. Now, in prokaryotic cell, the nucleus doesn't have the nuclear membrane. So, we can say that the nucleus is not well defined, and that is why it is called as nucleoid ovary. This particular nucleoid will have some genetic material, but the important thing in bacteria is what? That some genetic material is present inside this nucleoid, and that genetic material is called as genomic DNA. But there will be genetic material which will also be present outside the nucleoid. So, in the first case, we call it genomic DNA, and the second case, we call it extrachromosomal DNA. Now, if we talk about genomic DNA, which is present in the nucleoid, it is naked and it will be a single chromosome. So, what will be the structure of genomic DNA? It will be double-stranded DNA like this. So, two strands will be there, but a single chromosome will be present and it will be circular. So, that is how we say that a single chromosome is there. It is double-stranded as well, it is circular. After this, we come to extrachromosomal DNA. That is the DNA which is present outside the nucleoid. Now, this particular extrachromosomal DNA will be present in many bacteria. What will be the nature of this DNA? these will also be double stranded, these will also be circular, but the size will be smaller, and these rings are called as plasmids. So outside nucleoid we will have small rings of double stranded circular DNA called as plasmids. What is the function of these plasmids? These give unique phenotypic characters to bacteria. For examples, resistance to antibiotics, bacteria gets by these plasmids as well. So this completes the difference between genomic DNA and extrachromosomal DNA. After this, we come to the single organelle that is present in bacteria. It is non-membranous. It doesn't have membrane around it. If we talk about the size of ribosome of prokaryotic cell, it is 15 nanometer into 20 nanometer. It is made of two subunits. So we will just see the subunits over here and we will see how to learn the names. So there are two subunits. One subunit is smaller and the other subunit is larger. Smaller subunit is 30S. Now, what is S? S stands for Swedberg unit. So, that is how S comes. And larger subunit is 50S. Now, these two subunits will combine and these will form the ribosome, but the ribosome is 70S. So, what we see here that the numbers are not additive. That is 30S and 50S doesn't add to 80S. In fact, it comes to 70S because these are not additive. These are the functions of density. These are the functions of size. So smaller is 30S, 50S and 70S. So if you note, these are all the odd numbers which come. That is 3, 5 and 7. So you can easily learn that what will be the name of subunits. We will also talk about the eukaryotic ribosome. In eukaryotic ribosome, smaller subunit is 40S, larger subunit is 60S, but the number again doesn't add to 100S, it adds to 80S. So it's a way of convention. Here we have taken the odd numbers 3, 5, 7. For eukaryotes, we have taken the even numbers, that is 4, 6 and 8. So that is how you can easily remember the difference between these two. After this, we come to the function of ribosome. Wherever ribosome is present, the function is the protein synthesis. Here, an important structure is present that is called as polyribosome or polysome. So, we will talk about polyribosome, and in short, we call it polysome. Now, what is this polyribosome or polysome? mRNA is present. So, there will be a single strand of mRNA and a number of ribosomes will be attached to it. So, these are the two subunits of ribosomes that are attached. So, this strand is mRNA, and if number of ribosomes are attached to it, this particular structure is called as polyribosome. What is the function of polyribosome? It helps in the translation of mRNA to proteins. So, this particular detail is of ribosome.